Everything was fine until one short video broke the calm and sent the internet into another storm. Justin is live on Twitch with Haley next to him. People noticed that his eyes moved to the one place they thought he would never look at again. The tattoo he used to have that was connected to Selena. Before that could even sink in, an old video of Benny and Selena by a car door came back and started its own wave of posts. And almost like it was planned, Justin is then seen helping a stranger on the side of the road, which changes the whole conversation again. 3 events happened in a row that changed the story on social media the moment the clip appeared on my feed. The reactions online suddenly made more sense. Justin is live streaming. Haley was next to him, and everything looked normal until his eyes closed for a second. Not at the comments, not at the game, but right at the tattoo he once said was connected to Selena. There wasn't a big, dramatic moment, but that little look caught the attention of fans right away, and the clip was stopped, zoomed in on, and looked at from every angle. People tried to ignore it by saying he looked tired, distracted, or just spaced out for a second. But the past changes how moments like this hit, and even I couldn't ignore how quickly that one look brought back conversations that everyone thought were over. Selena hasn't said anything about any of this in years, but her name keeps coming up in these stories while she stays out of the spotlight. Haley stays still next to him, not giving anything away. But even though she doesn't want to be part of the conversation, her silence becomes part of it. A quick look at a chapter turned the whole internet into a fight. Selena left a long time ago. A lot of people who watched chimed in with their own thoughts, including a fan who said he wasn't looking at her face at all, just the shading, to downplay the whole thing. Someone else said, "Selena has moved on, but that tattoo hasn't," pointing out how the meaning behind it keeps old feelings alive. The reactions show how 1 second can divide the internet into 2 groups. If you're following this drama like I am, please click the like button before we move on. And while everyone was still watching that Twitch clip, a new fight broke out on the internet when an old video of Benny and Selena went viral again. Selena opens the car door herself in the video, steps to the side, and then Benny gets in first. There was just enough movement for people to stop the frame and make it a headline. People quickly started using words like careless, disrespectful, and red flag in the comments, even though the actual moment only lasted 3 seconds. The pattern is what made it blow up so quickly. Any little thing Selena does gets a lot more attention than anyone else's. And to be honest, I understood why people reacted the first time they saw it. When you slow down and edit the clip, it looks harsher. But as more versions spread, it became clear that she didn't look bothered, uneasy, or surprised. She walked in easily, like someone who knows how to ignore the noise around her and not let it get to her. A lot of fans didn't hold back either. Someone said, "Selena shouldn't be opening doors for anyone. They don't deserve her if they can't respect who she is," which hit home because it shows how much people care about her peace. Another viewer said, "This isn't disrespect, it's comfort. She doesn't need someone to put on a show for the cameras," and that take shows how differently people see the same moment depending on whether they see her as weak or finally studying in her life. Both reactions show how closely people look at even the smallest things when it comes to her. Just as people were talking about Benny and Selena, another clip suddenly took over everyone's feed. This time, it showed Justin stopping on the side of the road to help a driver who was stuck. The moment felt real, emotional, and completely unplanned, especially when you think about how people had been talking about the drama just a few minutes before. The man he helped looked really shocked, and the way he talked to Justin showed how much that small act meant to him right then and there. People quickly used this video to remind themselves that this is the Justin they think is real. And it spread quickly, almost faster than the debates about tattoos and car doors. And to be honest, I got why this moment affected people in such different ways. It showed a softer side, a quiet gesture that didn't seem planned or staged. But it was also hard to ignore how quickly fans used this one moment to forget about all the other awkward clips that came before it. What stood out the most was how the internet acted like this rescue made all the bad things that happened in the past week go away. A single good deed shouldn't have to deal with that kind of stress. But the fans made it a huge change in the story. Selena didn't say anything during all of this. She let everyone else argue while she went about her life away from the noise. And of course, the comments came in just as quickly as the video spread. "It's nice that he helps someone," one viewer said, "but a kind moment doesn't change a pattern. It reminds people that one good deed doesn't change the past." Someone else said, "It's funny how every good Justin clip turns into a reason to drag Selena again," pointing out that the internet always brings up a woman who wasn't even there. Both reactions hit because they show what the real problem is: fans using unrelated moments to start the same arguments again. And right after the highway rescue changed the mood online, the conversation changed again when people started comparing how Benny treats Selena to how Justin treats Haley. This turned two completely different relationships into one big fight. It got even worse when old clips started to show up next to each other. Benny talking about Selena with his usual unfiltered excitement, along with old clips of Justin and Haley coming back up for comparison. Fans couldn't help but notice the difference and energy when they put the two moments next to each other. Some people who watched said that Benny shares too much, especially in interviews where he talks too much about how they first met. Some people said that the way he looks at Selena makes what he says sound real, not like he's just acting. And without anyone saying it directly, it became clear why this comparison had different meanings for different people. With him, Selena seems safe, calm, and focused. Fans haven't always felt like they were on the other side of the story. I even noticed that the focus moved away from the car door moment and onto the emotional vibe instead. That's something you can't change or make up. As the talk got more heated, a few comments stood out. A fan said, "Benny might talk too much about her, but at least he does it with pride," which hit hard because that kind of honesty is hard to find in the business. "Justin only seems to be there when the cameras are on," said another fan. A point of view that many people quietly agreed with, even though they didn't want to see more drama. These comments, when taken together, show exactly why this comparison keeps getting attention. It's not about being flawless. It's about who really means it and doesn't need the cameras on them. Before we go on, please leave a comment and let me know who you think is more sincere in their actions, Benny or Justin. When the comparisons between Benny and Justin got heated, the internet did what it always does next. Everyone looked at Haley. All of a sudden, every old video, every paused frame, and every time she blinked in public was being looked at again. There was one moment on the red carpet where she just looked to the side. People said she looked tired, distracted, or embarrassed because of that little movement. The fact that the clip was years old, or that the original video showed her smiling just a few seconds later, didn't matter. The edited version had already told the story. This time, it felt even worse because people quickly connected her expressions to the chaos online. The Twitch clip, the tattoo talk, and the car door argument all made Haley into the emotional barometer that everyone wanted to look at. People said she was overthinking when she looked down. They said she was trying to stay calm when she looked up. That was the reaction when she didn't respond. And the stress wasn't just about her the whole time. It was about how every little change in her face showed how the internet won't let go of certain conversations. And while everyone was busy comparing Benny's energy to Justin's, the focus changed again. This time, it was about Haley and how the internet looks at everything she does with Rhode. It started out quietly, with fans posting clips of her interviews where she talks about how Justin uses the products and how the brand is gender neutral. But things got heated when people started putting those clips next to old interviews of Selena, talking about rare beauty, making another side-by-side comparison that no one asked for. Haley talks about Rhode very carefully, as if she knows that every word will be looked at and judged, and that pressure is always there for her, even when most people don't notice it. But what really made this topic blow up was how quickly the focus went back to Justin. Some people said he doesn't promote Rhode the same way other partners do, while others said he supports her quietly and doesn't need to put on a show for the cameras. The internet loves to turn separate stories into rival narratives, even though the two situations aren't really the same. Haley has to deal with these comparisons, even when she doesn't say anything, which is the hardest part. Selena, on the other hand, stays in her own lane and lets rare beauty speak for her without needing anyone's permission. And I couldn't help but notice that the main topic of conversation was how different their energy levels were. People can feel it more than they can say. It's crazy how four people who live completely different lives keep getting pulled into the same conversation after seeing all these moments happen. The looks, the reactions, the quiet times, the excitement, and the side-by-side comparisons that no one asked for. Selena keeps picking calm, while others keep picking chaos. The internet always seems to know who is real and who is fake. So, this is what I really want to know. Not to cause trouble, but to give you some perspective. If you had to trust one of these relationships with your own story, your heartbreak, and your healing, which one would you feel safer with? Imagine scrolling through your feed and feeling like every clip is a test of your perspective. One side has calm, steady energy. Selena walks through her world with quiet confidence, letting her actions and work speak for her. The other side is always reacting, comparing, and arguing, and every look or word is blown up and picked apart. You begin to think about what it means to be emotionally safe. If your story, your heartbreak, or your trust were at stake, who would you talk to? When you watch these moments, it's clear that the internet doesn't just read the news, it follows a pattern, a look, a gesture, or a kind act. These little moments suddenly mean a lot. Some fans support authenticity and praise quiet confidence and real intention. Some people get lost in drama, picking apart gestures, performances, and pauses to look for signs of honesty or dishonesty. People who are being watched keep living their lives in the middle of all this, unaffected but always in the spotlight. You realize that in this swirl, it's less about who did what and more about how these moments make you feel. One relationship seems more real, while the other seems more like a show. One gives you peace of mind and safety, while the other gives you excitement and drama. And all of a sudden, it's not just a story about a famous person. It makes us think about trust, emotional safety, and the decisions we make when we let someone else take care of us. You stop, think, and wonder. If you were in charge of protecting your own world, what kind of energy would you let in?